Live from the Business RadioX studio inside Renaissance Bank, the bank that specializes in understanding you. It's time for North Fulton Business Radio.
And hello again, everyone. Welcome to another edition of North Fulton Business Radio. I'm John Ray, and folks, we are broadcasting, as we always are, from inside Renaissance Bank in beautiful Alpharetta. And if you're looking for a bank that was voted top 10 in the country as surveyed by Forbes magazine, well, I'm sitting in that bank right now. For a Renaissance Bank, yes, was ranked one of the top 10 banks in the country in terms of the customers that were surveyed by Forbes magazine. So if you're looking for a better banking experience for your business, then my suggestion is go to renaissancebank.com and find one of their local offices and have a conversation. And I think you'll be glad you did. Renaissance Bank, understanding you, member FDIC. And now I want to welcome Jeff Fischer. Jeff is with Houck's Grille, and he's got all other sorts of things going on as well we're going to talk about. Jeff, how you doing?
John, thank you very much. Good morning.
Yeah, great to have you here. Let's talk a little bit about you. Give everyone an introduction to you and your work. How are you serving folks out there?
Sure. Well, as you mentioned, co-owner of Houck's Grille, also an independent business consultant, and also board member of a couple of local charities, having retired from UPS after 25 years.
Wow. Terrific. Talk about that career. I mean, what were you up to at UPS?
Oh, UPS. A variety of things, everything from global supply chain management, which we hear about a lot these days, to our customer experience, running call centers, business development, training. It was a very quick 25 years working with some great people at a great organization, and for some amazing customers in the Fortune 500.
Yeah. You, Jeff, could have done a lot of different things coming out of UPS. Talk about why you're doing what you're doing now in terms of owning a restaurant and the other consulting work that you're doing.
Yeah, well, thank you. The one of the things I saw even as a pre-UPS and growing up was a sense of community and always giving back, and it was something that was instilled. Parents, grandparents, I could talk more about that, but also within UPS, many things are involved with the United Way, neighbor-to-neighbor programs, and that sense of giving was one of the reasons why I also joined UPS many years ago. In that transition to my second chapter of life, if you will, retiring, to give back and to find those niches and ways, and a variety of nonprofits. And one of those was via Houck's Grille. It was one venue that I saw getting into, one to have just fun and also fundraising, and how to use that property, the space we have, the brand. We've been out there for a long, long time, this particular facility since 2015, and how I could work with the nonprofits, particularly the ones locally to the Roswell area and the North Fulton County area.
Yeah. I want to get to that in a second, but let's talk about why a restaurant. I think a lot of folks maybe they get out of corporate or whatever they're doing. They've got some transition and they've got some romance about involved, and you're chuckling already about owning a restaurant, right?
Yeah.
Disabuse them of the romance of that there.
Well, I think there was some romance, and to kind of go in it. First, Houck's Grille, well-known name with one of the partners at the time, Bill Houck. And there was that, let's have some fun. What can we do with it? No doubt about that.
Sure.
From an economic standpoint, some diversification. Looking back, given the many things, maybe there was a better opportunity. But with that said, from opening in 2015, going through the pandemic, while there have been trials and tribulations, all of it has been good. We've stayed open, and on the charity side, we've done more than ever coming out in 2021, 2022. We were even doing things in 2020.
Yeah.
And I'm looking for 2022 to even be better. And I think that in the beginning, why? I think the why has proven itself to be very fruitful, particularly, again, for the nonprofits and giving back to the community. And we've done that in a variety of ways.
Well, when I say romance, I guess I'm referring to, and I used to know a guy like this. He bought a restaurant, and he spent his time back in the corner table, buying drinks for folks, and you knew that one was not going to last. The way I know you is you're out promoting your restaurant, so you're putting elbow grease into the business. That's an entirely different matter.
Yeah, no, that's true. And I am out doing that. I do sit in the back corner because I watch people coming in, and many people I know, and then I want to get to know. And I would be remiss saying I am obviously not the sole thing making it happen. It's truly our people that are making, from the managers to the employees, and so many of them have been with us since day one. Those are the folks that are really making it happen. So I'm just one face of Houck's Grille, bringing in people and bringing those opportunities back to the community, particularly on the give back and the things we do with various nonprofits.
And you bought into the business when?
I guess we got into early 2015 and opened in late 2015 and been opened ever since.
Right. And so it takes a while to build up your brand and to build up a loyal following, because restaurant customers are creatures of habit, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah. So talk about how you did that.
Well, first we had my partner and I had reached out for Bill Houck, who had a very successful career with Houck's Grille and other restaurants. So we brought him in, and he's the one, since I don't have that restaurant experience. And in a very short period of time, brought it to profitability, to it's the location that we are at and currently at. That got the menu right, all those kinds of things, and then expanded from there to let people know about the private event space, the things that we can do to keep a business running. And our customers came through not only to build the business, but everything we could do during the initial days of the pandemic, and then even afterwards by takeout and all the other things. And they've come back in droves, which has really been good. So we've got the service, we've got the menu, we've got the space. And it's been a proven business model, working together as a team, everybody working as a team.
Well, I would say this one way or the other, whether you're here or not, but I've been to Houck's Grille, folks, and it's a terrific restaurant, great food, great atmosphere. And that private event space is an under appreciated asset. If you go to the restaurant and see it, folks, you may think of event you want to have there, right? Yeah.
You're absolutely right. We just did a rehearsal dinner the other day, and all sorts of things that space can be done, including, again, a lot of fundraising. There's been a lot of different things that have gone on for charities to support their cause.
Yeah, that's great. Let's just we've talked about menu. We got to give folks a little taste. I put that in quotes of what's on the menu. So give a little overview there.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity. One, I like everything, but if you're looking for the lighter side, one of our biggest sellers and one of the customers' favorites is the tuna salad. A little seared tuna on a wonderful salad with just a slight vinaigrette. If you're going for something a little bit more, I'll call it heartier, we've got a build-your-own burger. That's a big favorite of people. Pork chops. And our flatbreads are sensational, and people like that. And we've made very little changes with the menu since opening. It's tried and true. And then, of course, there's daily, weekly, and seasonal specials as well.
Sure. And great bar.
Yep.
Lots of craft beers and that kind of thing, right?
Craft beers, mixed drinks, and of course we participate in a lot of things that Roswell is doing with summer sipping and a number of those kinds of things, promoting again that community activity and of other establishments too. We're not out there alone, and we enjoy being part of the Roswell community and the North Fulton community.
What of your experience at UPS, your career? How did that help you in buying Houck's Grille and operating it? I mean, what were some of those skills that you brought to the table that you think that was really impactful on my business?
Yeah, probably the most impactful, and even have to back up. Prior to UPS, I in New York before I moved down here, I was with Fuji Photo Film. I know film is a little bit with digital, but I was a very young man at the time, and given a $20 million budget to handle the U.S. logistics and then later the North American logistics, and got a lot involved in quality control, process re-engineering, those kinds of things. That got me to UPS. And within UPS, looking at processes, reading contracts, bids coming from major organizations throughout the world, responding to those bids, just a variety of things. But on a smaller scale, transitioning to Houck. So to look over the vendor contracts we have, to look over the lease agreement, all those kinds of things. But more importantly, as I did those kind of things, which were paramount, is also then educating the people that are there every day running it, who are much younger than me, which is great, and to start their careers and to show them how things can be done.
Right.
That transition was extraordinary, and then more adaptation to what is it like to run a smaller business. And there was a lot of learning to go. Despite my age, I'm always willing to learn and do more.
Well, that's the secret of success right there, right? I mean, because some people get caught up in, hey, I've had this corporate career. There's, what do I need to learn? That kind of thing.
Right.
Maybe they don't think they're acting that way, but maybe they really kind of are. But that openness sounds like a secret to your success.
Yeah, the one being able to adapt to many assignments I had within UPS. And one of the first things I saw, I could take all those hard business skills that we just talked about. I, as an individual, while the restaurant might have been known, but to learn the small business, so to get out there and network. So I only know what I know, and I don't know what I don't know. And one of the first things was to get out to and become a member of the Chamber of Commerce, to become part of a lot of networking groups that have small businesses, mostly. And whether it was another restaurant, an insurance company, listening and learning to those people at the weekly, monthly meetings became essential for me to, how are you doing it? And learning from them. And then, of course, just the general networking to say, Houck's is here and we're open for business. That's how I think I've been able to do it during the pandemic. And since the pandemic, is really learning from a lot of good people, including yourself, that I've met throughout the chamber, and all the resources that the chamber and other networking groups bring to myself and, of course, to others. That's been the success, is being willing to adapt.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because you're unusual in this regard.
That's what my wife says.
Well, I don't think she's referring to what I'm referring to, but what I'm referring to is just the fact that you are out there networking on behalf of your restaurant, because a lot of restaurant owners don't do this, right? And so you're really unusual in that regard, and you've been very active in the Greater North Fulton Chamber. What's the chamber done for you? I mean, what's been the net result, I guess, of that networking for your business?
Yeah, I think for the chamber specifically, it comes on a number of things. Trying to go to and do to the weekly meeting and reminding people that Houck's is out there, but then listening to what other organizations have. And on any given Wednesday, you've got 80 to 100 companies showing up. We're networking with each other. We're learning, what are they up to? Whether, again, they're doing something to raise money for a charity, I'm doing something. So that's really good in that network. But also, too, the things the chamber has, a number of resources, member-to-member program, which now they're doing it for the third time, and I'm doing it, where I could get to know a half a dozen to a dozen members of the chamber better, and to learn about themselves personally, but also their businesses. And I can run my situations by them. And they just have an array of things. I just graduated from their leadership academy, and here I am in my early 60s.
I love it.
And learning from people, all walks of life. It might be a little, might be a lot, but the chamber has done an extraordinary amount for me and for Houck's Grille.
Jeff Fischer is with us, folks. He's the owner of Houck's Grille. He's also an independent business consultant. Let's turn to that part of your work. What kind of consulting work do you do?
Well, thank you for asking. Yeah, so I've got my own independent company, the Whole Business LLC, and with that, I've been helping a lot of nonprofits, but I also do it with companies that are looking to grow their businesses. And again, I go back to a number of things I did within UPS, developed and deployed training as an example. I had run contact centers. Also had done a number of things within the operation. So looking at the processes that somebody might have and looking for ways to improve that, whether it's increasing their revenue, decreasing their costs, combination of both, or improving their customer experience, helping them with their website. Number of things where a lot of times businesses, and we're all victims of this, we're so close to the forest, we can't see the trees, to use a cliche. And it tends to be true. Another pair of eyes and ears looking at something and really asking a very simple question. I asked this when I joined UPS. Why do you do it this way? And a lot of people are challenged. Why do we do it this way? We've always been doing this way. And it might be correct, but maybe it's not. Maybe there's a better way to do it, or at least give pause and think about that. So that's what I kind of get into.
Well, and just asking that question is liberating, right? I mean, as you say, even if you end up doing it, continuing to do it the same way you always have, just asking the question gives some answers and some clarity, right? Right.
And a lot of people will usually have many cases what consultants find that the solution is around that table when people kind of talk it through. And then I can kind of put it down in writing. I've done a lot of writing more in my earlier days, but I've written and published over 100 articles, mostly on the logistics side. That's where the nonprofits have seen it, the ability to write. So I've done grant writing, appeals letters, thank yous, and that's what the nonprofits see, but also to write processes. The companies that are trying to grow, to write it down is not an easy thing. But once you write it down, people have that aha moment and go, that's how we do it. And you can spread that around and train your people, so forth and so on. Or succession planning.
Yeah, I can see that. Writing is it clarifies, right? I mean, and you really have to know what you're talking about to write about it, right?
That is correct. And in some cases, it's in a general sense. There's no difference between saying burgundy versus maroon versus dark red. But if something has to be very precise on which button, which is typical of a website, and you're telling your customers to click on the red button, and there's no red button there, and it's a yellow button, they're confused and they ban the shopping cart. So it's very important to be precise in so many things, and that's what I go through and do.
So talk about the kinds of organizations that you work with in your consulting practice.
It can vary a lot of times. So one that I'm doing right now is just the individual himself is just looking to improve their LinkedIn bio and their overall resume. So that's kind of the writing aspect of it. Another was about was prior to the swimming season, was a pool company that their inventory just seemed out of whack in their revenues. So I'll look at people's financials, not a CPA, not a financial planner, but have done a lot of this on a global scale. So I can look at these things and notice, where's the money going? Why is it not being properly accounted for? Or maybe money's missing if there's other employees involved. So it can really vary. But the process improvement, if somebody shows me, recently I helped a nonprofit, actually, they were looking to develop an operations manual. They had a lot of pieces of paper and things all around their office. The new director came in, and she recognized that she needed this help, and she did. And it took us a while, but we pulled it all together. And then from that, now they have something well structured to say, this is what you do, and this happens, so forth and so on. And it just goes from there. It's whatever they need. And if I don't have the knowledge. I have people that I know I could go to say, are you interested in helping me with a bigger project that I just don't have the skills expertise? So that networking, so I'll go back to UPSers and I'll even find people in the chamber who have a skill set that's it's better than mine.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Jeff Fischer's with us, folks. He is not only the owner of Houck Grille, but he's also an independent business consultant here in the North Fulton community, and I'm sure you work with businesses all over the place. Really, geography is not really a limitation.
Is, not a problem.
Yeah, for sure. You also do some work with nonprofits.
Correct.
Talk about that work that you're doing.
Sure, be happy to, and that's really been my number one focus. Whether it's the consulting or it's Houck Grille is giving back. Whether it's part of that. A paycheck as a consultant or what I can do at Houck Grille. So it varies, and there's been a number of charities, nonprofits that have come our way and we're working with. A lot of times it's the non-profit that's coming to me, something or one of our managers. Mm-hmm. And it could be something as simple, we're doing XYZ, and would you like to donate a gift card in our basket of whatever. Mm-hmm. Many times it goes a little bit higher than that. Would you like to be a sponsor of a golf outing or a gala that they're doing for larger fundraising? And it even can go to, could we use your space? We have a board meeting for a holiday party. It can vary. In fact, I get more of the ideas from the nonprofits than I come up with mine. And because I'm not the keeper of all good ideas. Yeah. And it just varies on to what they are looking for and how we can help them. And that synergy helps a lot, including, again, when I listen to other people too. When I defer back even to the chamber and other networking groups, when I hear other people having different things that they're doing to help a cause, mm-hmm. It makes me start to think, how can I help somebody I'm already involved with, or reach out to somebody to also help them. Again, using the restaurant, using the consulting, but mostly the restaurant, to raise money for a particular cause.
I can imagine that you are a particular go-to source for helping either businesses or nonprofits with process. Mm-hmm. Because correct. I think that's one area that UPS excels at.
Yes. Yeah, I do get a lot of, yes. And a lot of times after a lot of lunches, networking meetings, I enjoy having one-to-ones at the restaurant. Mm-hmm. I always tell people, yes, there is a free lunch. I will buy. I want people to see the space, see our people. But if there is a particular thing that they're looking at, we can spend an hour or more, but a lot of times to assess it pretty quickly. Can I help you? I can't. It usually is yes, I can. And here's some thoughts and ideas, and let that person go back and think about some of the questions I've raised or I've asked for information to come back. And that usually bears a lot of fruit. They either come up a little bit with the answer themselves, and I'll just kind of push them a little further. And many times it's actually relatively simple. An hour here, an hour there with them, and all of that. And in those cases, I don't even charge. I just simply say I work for food, and if they come back at the restaurant later on, they can come back with their family and friends, and that's very rewarding. Just simply to help people when sometimes it can be that easy. As I mentioned before, they're so close to the forest, and then just point out a few of the trees, they get it and they moved on. Many of these people are, good and brighter than I am, but it's just that little bit, again, that give and take and talking through with anything. It helps all of us. Even clarity comes to me when I talk about the restaurant with other people.
This is, I love hearing this from you, Jeff, because I think a lot of people come out of corporate. I came out of corporate one time, and you think, hey, I was with this big company and I've got this wisdom to impart. And yes, you do. But sometimes is what that business in front of you really needs is they just need an ear. That's what you're talking about, right? Helping them clarify their own thinking.
Right.
And sometimes they already have the answer. They just don't know it.
Right. That's exactly right. It's of anybody and or any entity, which sometimes can just get in our own way. We've done things for such a long time. It doesn't mean that they're wrong or they're bad, but sometimes it just needs that clarity to say, again, why are you doing that? There is a better way, so forth and so on. And again, I do enjoy it, and I do enjoy when people just reach out. Even if I ultimately say, thank you for reaching out, I don't know if I can help you, but here's somebody that I know, why don't you try reaching out for him or her? And that's rewarding as well, to try to help other people.
Well, you've got quite a compelling combination. You can offer some great business wisdom and great food at the same time. So I don't know where else that combination exists around here in North Fulton. So that's got to be pretty compelling. Let's tell everyone how they can get in touch with you if they'd like to know more.
Well, one of the ways is, of course, we have the Houck's Grille website. And not everybody always spells it correctly, so I will say it's HoucksGrille.com. And even the same for my email address, which is fine, which is jeff.fischer, FISCHER, @HoucksGrille.com. That would be the perfect way to get in touch with me.
Terrific. And let's just remind everyone where Houck's Grille is located.
Yeah, Houck's Grille is on the corner of Highway 92, or also known as Crossville Road, and Crabapple Road. We are in the Village Festival, recently changed its name to the Promenade Shopping Center, and have been there since 2015.
Terrific. Jeff Fischer, folks, Houck's Grille, and also an independent business consultant here in the North Fulton area. Jeff, this has been great. Thank you so much for taking the time to come in.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Hey, folks, just a quick reminder for you. If you have got a team building activity you're trying to plan and you're reluctant to plan one that involves broken ankles and mosquito bites, then I've got a suggestion for you. A&S Culinary Concepts. Yes, they're an award-winning culinary studio. They do corporate catering. They do Big Green Egg boot camps, which are fabulous, by the way. But they also do corporate team building. And if what they do, Executive Chef Andrew Traub plans an evening which you bring your team in. You do cooking at the direction of him and his team, preparing the meal, and they'll help put it all together. And the great part about it is you get to eat together when it's all said and done. It's a lovely way to build camaraderie with your group. So if you would like to know more, give Andrew a call, 678-336-9196, or go to asculinaryconcepts.com. And folks, we have been blessed to now go past 500 episodes of North Fulton Business Radio. The only reason we have gotten this far is because of your support. So I'm going to ask yet again for your support in being able to continue, and all that involves really from our perspective is sharing the show. If you've heard something here that makes you want to share the show, please do that, because we're here to celebrate our great business leaders in the community like Jeff, who do great work, and their work deserves to be found. So in his case, if you got folks that are looking for a great place to eat, share the show. Tell them to go to Houck's Grille. But that's what our mission is here at Business RadioX, is to celebrate and honor the great work of business leaders in our community, and we appreciate your help in helping us do that. So for my guest, Jeff Fischer, I'm John Ray. Join us next time here on North Fulton Business Radio.